This is used to control the projector. Something in that painting is familiar to me, but where did I see it?
Well, I suppose that you've seen hundreds of paintings in your work.
No, not like that. This is different. So what will help us to find out what did happen in here? And what about that helmet?
The victim could have worn it on his head, and when falling to the floor, the helmet fell and spinned off.
I can't imagine that. I think that it probably stayed on his head, lying on the floor.
Of course, that's more likely.
Or the victim wasn't wearing it at all, and it fell off the table. I think we can't come to any conclusion about that. An overthrown chair. Interesting, but not what I'm looking for. The blood, the overthrown chair. We probably agree that there's some story behind it.
I looked at it too, but what do you want to find there?
It seems that one of the victims was sitting at the table and then either overthrew the culprit or hit him on the back with the chair, knocking him down.
Exactly, and that blood smear is perhaps from dragging the person off the chair. There is no blood around. The chair stayed as it fell. I suppose that the victim was not defending himself after the fall, possibly even dead beforehand.
Shouldn't there be more blood?
Very good question. Maybe the wound was covered by something. Bleeding into the clothing?
No, maybe you're not seeing this clearly, but there are some tiny spots on the table. I think it's blood too.
And that means...
In my opinion, the victim received a heart injury. I find it the most probable explanation.
What?
Listen, I think it does make sense. Let's say that the victim was shot in the heart. The blood would spurt once or twice from the wound. That could be on the table, then the heart stopped beating.
So it would make the blood stop circulating and the bleeding would stop almost immediately.
Yes. If we could analyze that blood, we might be able to point out more accurately the place of the hit.
Don't you want to take this to pathology?
These things are well known. Non-oxygenated blood is dark. Oxygenated is light. That's how you know which ventricle it comes from. There are tools on the table. It seems like stuff commonly used by structural engineers. It seems to be bloodless in the photo. Anyway, we're not interested in it right now. An overthrown chair. Interesting, but not what I'm looking for. Those wings might be really important, but not just now. The lily is quite a common symbol in medieval paintings, not that it helps us now. Those wings might be really important, but not just now. Those wings might... Those wings... Those prints are really interesting, but I'm looking for some... I don't think that the cross can tell us anything important right now. There's an open Bible lying on the ground. Can it be important? Not now. There's a lot of blood here. The perpetrator left the victim to lie here for a long period of time.
Yeah, seems like it.
But you said yourself that if the heart stopped beating quickly, the blood would stop flowing.
No, I didn't say that. The blood stopped circulating, but of course it keeps on flowing. Slowly, from higher to lower parts. Let's sum up. We know the probable cause of death of one of the victims, hit in the heart.
But wounded by what?
Could have been a shot.
I didn't notice anything indicating a shooting, and there's nothing in the report. Diego?
I don't find it probable. If there was a shot to the heart, the chair elbow might be damaged too.
Not necessarily. If the culprit was shooting from an angle, the bullet could get caught by the vertebrae, spine. But I'd put the shooting aside for now.
So the murderer stabbed the victim in the heart. Why would he do that? To get some blood for painting? He'd have to have something to keep it in.
Of course he had. But if he wanted mainly the blood, he would more likely cut an artery. This seems rather ritualistic.
Ritual or not, what about those other two? Were they only onlookers? That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe they weren't actually conscious.
You're thinking about that gas from the report? Laura, did you get that?
John is talking about the gas, but he's wrong. The report clearly says that it's non-toxic, and so they couldn't have been poisoned by it, and it would have poisoned the suspect too.
Okay, was the FBI interested in something else besides that painting?
They want to know if the crime could have some religious motive.
So we should search through those photos and try to find evidence either supporting or controverting that hypothesis.
Let's have a look at it. I'd have expected the culprit to use a thinner paintbrush, but that's not relevant now. That painting is fascinating, but we're looking for something else now. An alcove with a... We have discussed... And over... This figure has wings.
Sure, quite clearly visible ones.